Yeah, let's talk about Michael Lee Chin and what's going on there right now.
About what?
Michael Lee Chin. It seems like there's a lot of interesting news surrounding his name. There have been reports about him selling assets lately, and people that wonder, wait there, billionaire Michael Lee Chin, he might go broke. So can you give the people some insight into what's happening there? Because I see this news and probably that's the first thought that crossed their mind. Say, Michael Lee Chin, I go broke.
So Michael Lee Chin is not broke, but
Never.
Here's the thing. So Michael Lee Chin is a billionaire, like on Forbes billionaire list. But the thing is, when people say, oh, this person has a net worth of however many millions or billions, Elon Musk have God knows how much millions, one of the richest men in the world, they do not have that cash sitting around in the bank. So Michael Lee Chin does not have a $1.2 billion in his bank account today. That money is in assets. So that when I say net worth, that is the total value of all the things that he owns. So he owns millions of shares in NCB. He owns this mega yacht for 300 and something million. He owns multiple properties all over the world. He owns shares in companies in Canada. He has multiple assets, and the total of all those assets comes up to the 1 billion that he is worth. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't have the 1.2 billion liquid sitting in the bank, right? But what happens is when you have that level of wealth, those assets generate income for you. It's what I like to call sit down and collect. Where you don't really passive income. You sit down and collect. Yeah. So you have money in the bank, you have shares, the shares appreciate in price, the stock pays you dividends, you have properties that you rent out, you earn rental income. So you have multiple streams of income, and you might not have that money sitting in cash, but those assets are generating cash for you. And so one of his biggest income producing assets was NCB. Being the majority shareholder in NCB ensures that he gets paid dividends as, the owner of these shares, regular dividends. And so he was earning $30 million a year in dividends just from NCB alone.
Yeah.
From NCB alone.
30 million US.
US dollars.
You just worried.
But what had happened was for the past 2 years, NCB has not paid any dividends.
To no shareholder, not just Michael.
To any shareholder. So I own shares in NCB. I haven't gotten any dividends from NCB in 2 years. And there are many ordinary people who own shares in NCB. A lot of pensioners own shares in NCB because they're looking forward to their regular dividends because they don't work anymore. They're old and they just want that passive income coming in. Yeah. So what
2 years.
What had happened was during COVID, the Bank of Jamaica. So early on in COVID, it was in 2020, and it was big news when it broke. The Bank of Jamaica banned dividend payments. They said that no company should pay dividends. No company that's listed on the stock exchange should pay dividends. And it was a way to preserve cash because COVID was a really uncertain time. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long this is going to last. So you guys, you need to just save your money right now. Save up your cash. Don't pay any dividends just in case. Right? So that's what happened. And so no institution was paying out dividends at the time. A few months.
That's 2020.
That's 2020. A few months later, they're like, okay, you guys can go ahead and start paying dividends again. Maybe we're past the worst. You guys can pay dividends. And NCB declared a dividend 2021. I think it was in May, around that time. 2021. They declared a dividend, 50 cents per share. And that was good. But then since then, there's been no declaration or payment of dividends. Wow. So why would a company not pay dividends for 2 years, even though it's a very profitable company? Like I said, $40 billion in profits last year. They haven't specifically said, like they haven't come out and publicly said what's the reason for no dividends. But there are some reasons that could be why they haven't. So there is this new accounting standard, this new international standard called Basel III, that is coming, like globally, it's impacting a lot of companies. And under that standard, banks, especially large financial institutions, are required to keep more money on hand. So they call it strengthening the capital base. So a company like NCB has to keep more money like on their books, just in case, I guess. And then in addition to that, there's other reasons. So maybe Why would a company not pay dividends? Well, some companies want to save money for a rainy day. So right now,
Just like with COVID.
just like during COVID. So right now, there's been talks of a recession. For the past couple of years, they've been saying recession is coming, recession is coming. So just to be on the safe side, let's hold on to some cash. In addition to that, there could be an investment that they want to make. Let's say they want to buy another company, make an acquisition. They're going to need money for that, right? So these are reasons that could be, because I don't know, they haven't publicly said why. Yeah. These are reasons that could be why they haven't paid this dividend in the past 2 years. But no, as chairman, Michael Leachin is chairman of the board.
Yes.
So he sits on the board that makes the dividend decision.
Exactly.
So people have been saying, but you knew because you sit on the board. But it could be that he was outvoted.
Okay.
It could be that he wanted the dividends to be paid and the other members of the board said no and they outvoted him. And then now he's, taking his executive power, blame it on these two gentlemen, Patrick Hilton and Dennis Cohen, and they're now gone.
But then
what I want to know, why would he, well, as we spoke about before, he's selling his assets. Why would he first say that, he's just restructuring his portfolio, rebalancing his portfolio, and then come out to say, hey, it's because, I need to pay for, my expenses.
It's not, and it's not just him, it's the other shareholders. But my question is though, wouldn't these execs, wouldn't they have to share the reason why they're not paying out the dividends?
Yeah, it's a whole board meeting.
Yeah, so.
But it could be that somebody can share a reason with you and you still disagree with the reason.
Okay, fair. But so it's just like, so he was like, well, that's all well and good, but pay it out. And they're like, no, we want to do this. This is the best thing for us to do. As I know, pay me out. So he just, as I said, took his, I'm in charge and like just asked them. But then if he's outvoted, wouldn't it the same process to oust these people be the same? Like, I
don't sit on NCB board. I don't know. I don't know how it goes.
All right.
What I heard was that there was an emergency meeting called on the Sunday, 2 Sundays ago.
Yeah.
And that was a decision taken. But it would seem, I get the impression that this has been like a sore point for a while. It's been 2 years now.
Which is strange because Mr. Patrick Hilton, especially, I know, is I've done a lot.
Let me just say, Michael Leachin is not the only person who'd been complaining about the lack of dividends. So there have been multiple articles. As they said, there have been multiple articles over the past, especially the past year, complaining about NCB not paying dividends and shareholders being upset. And then in addition, so let me break this down. So there are two main ways that you make money from stock market investing. One is dividends, which is your share of the profits. Company makes profits, they share it up amongst all the co-owners, aka shareholders. The second one is price appreciation. So you mentioned it earlier, buy low, sell high, right? Yeah. So if I buy shares at $1 and the share price go up to $2, I've made 100% profit. I just doubled my money. But NCB stock price has been plummeting for the past 3 years.
Wow.
So before COVID, NCB stock price was at $210. And up to last week, Monday, when they made the announcement, NCB stock price was at $65. From 210 to 65.
Yeah.
So it lost 70% of its value.
Yeah.
So if you had invested $100,000 in NCB in 2019, when it was at that peak, that 100,000 up to last week would be worth 30,000.
Wow. That's not good.
So one, you're not getting paid dividends, and two, you're not getting your capital appreciation. The price is going down, like you're losing money on the share price. So you're not. So it's a bad investment on both fronts. So, and the reason the price was going down, one of the reasons anyway, is because they're not paying dividends, and you have shareholders who aren't happy, so they start selling off their NCB stock, which causes supply and demand. Fewer people want it, so now the price get cheaper.
Yeah.
Right?
So, and
will
it's
those
like
dividends be paid out like in back pay?
No, there's no back pay for dividends, as far as I'm aware. Unless the board decides that they want to do that. I doubt that though.
Wow.
Do you think this is a scapegoat type situation with these gentlemen, Hilton and Cohen? Because while they've been at the helm, NCB has seen record revenue. Do you think it's a scapegoat type situation?
And record profits. I won't go so far as to say scapegoat because I don't know what went on behind closed doors. I don't know what the decision making was like. If they were the primary ones saying no dividends, I really don't know what else happened behind closed doors. it's just interesting
It
to
is.
watch.
Yeah.
Hilton himself commented that it is unusual for a publicly listed company to have the same CEO for 20 years. So there are times when companies just need a change, just need
Yeah.
a refresher. You
Yeah.
know, you might want somebody younger with a different point of view who understands the current climate. That could be part of it too.
But the two people that the Mr. Chin put in or installed, I don't know if it's for the time being interim, are like pretty much the same age as Mr. Hilton. So it's just like, well, that's the business. But I want to know how does media and I guess public perception affect a price? Because as you said, many people probably the bad press that NCB has been getting for the past couple of years affected their stock price, it seems. So the public perception has a major influence on
It does. It does in Jamaica and in other markets as well. Public perception, news, which is why what I do is so important, and putting out news about and accurate news about what companies are doing with shareholders' money and what they're doing, you know, with customers. It's very, very important because it does affect the stock price. Case in point, since the change last week, Monday, NCB stock price is up 15%. So investors have reacted because now there's an expectation based on all that's been revealed, all that's been said. There's an expectation that, oh, NCB going to pay dividends again.
Yeah.
Let me jump back in.
Okay.
And so that has caused the stock price to rally and to rise 15% in the past week since that announcement was made. And that price had just been, before it was just going down and down and down and down and down from 210 to 65.
So there's no way
now
that
it's at 75.
So there's no way where a company can, like, without it, like, I guess certain changes have to be done to kind of stop the bloodletting of sorts, like for the price to the stock to go down. But I mean,
so it could be that even that could be behind Mr. Lee Chin's decision to replace the two executives.
What
So
exactly?
maybe it could be that there was no hard feelings, but he just knows that there's this public perception. Shareholders have been complaining. We need to do something drastic to turn things around. And that was
It's
the
funny how
drastic
they
thing.
first reported it though, that they're going on vacation. But now we've come to find out that's a permanent vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
Yeah.
It seems like they put out a statement.
I think they felt that they needed to say something because there were a lot of
Public
assumptions going around, like, oh my God, they got sent on leave, they must do something wrong. And so they had to put out something to say, no, it was no wrongdoing. We're not being investigated. Because you know, a lot of times when this is reported that people go on leave, quote unquote leave, is like, oh, they're being investigated behind the scenes.
and then I guess with so
They
many
just needed to make
scamming-
it clear. And plus with so much
scandals as
scamming,
well,
they just needed to make it clear that no, that there was none of that going on.
Fair. That's true. That's
Was it
fair.
reported that they would, like, it was 3 weeks or 3 months?
3
Vacation leave.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think it was weeks, but yeah.
I think it was weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly.